Thank you very much. That was very kind of Mike. I have to say also something like still independent too, not bought by anybody. At this point, like there are a few of us left. Just kidding. This is sad, you know, when I want to come up with jokes and nobody laughs, so no worries. Hopefully the last one. But yes, I'm so very excited to be here. First time in Raleigh. I'm very, very surprised, and I love it. I have mentioned to a couple of people that it's like the typical city that you see in US movies. So it's like, yeah, this is not New York or LA, right? It's like typical, so very nice, and very looking forward to share with you today. And today I come to talk something that I believe that all of us can feel, identify, right? Like the challenges that we unfortunately are going through in SEO, something that we literally need to, well, fight with and struggle with. And coincidentally, I ran into an SEO friend who I started with in the SEO work back in 2007, and I feel very old now. Literally, since that time when I started doing SEO, I don't think that I have never felt that the pace of changes was like this, right? All the uncertainty, too, around it. Like, oh, we have AI overviews because all of a sudden Google has realized that they need to keep up with LLMs. And, of course, they need to integrate it in their current interface to keep making money with ads somehow. And then SearchGPT, the prototype, is out there. And just a few days ago, they mentioned that they will start to integrate it after testing it. And then, all of a sudden, maybe that doesn't matter because Gen Z and younger people are searching in TikTok. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem that the reliability of the content is an issue there, but yes, there's that. So it has never been harder to sell SEO. I asked around to SEO FOMO subscribers a few months back on a survey that I did about SEO consulting. It has also never been harder to achieve SEO goals. Because of all of this uncertainty among the common issues that we know that we face on SEO day to day. But LLMs also has opened the doors to so much awesomeness, right? The automation in our SEO work. Nope, I am not referring to this one. Sorry, this was supposed to be a joke too. The content automation, AI content, junk was not necessarily like the purpose of the benefits of automation that we could all look for, but I was referring to the ones that I'm going to explain in a bit. Sadly, this is what, at the end of the day, has made it harder and harder from a technical SEO standpoint for Google to start indexing more content, especially new content, right? But on the other hand, we have this awesomeness, right? So many new people have started to automate stuff. I see every week, literally, because I go and take a look at the latest tools, the latest scripts, etc., to include them in the tools section of SEO FOMO. New scripts, new tools, new validators from people who were not coding like a year and a half ago, and they started to do it thanks to ChatGPT, thanks to all of the integrations that crawlers, like, for example, Screaming Frog has, and they can connect to APIs. And literally, with Claude artifacts and ChatGPT Canvas, there are no excuses, right? I have been playing around quite a few, some forecasting, some validations here, integrating with OpenAI, also APIs, making it easier to validate and assess a few of the things that were more challenging before. So we also have access to SEO solutions that solve some top challenges in technical SEOs, realistically, right? So at the end of the day, we should be okay too, even better. Not because of all of these waves of LLMs, but tools that we used to have before have taken a new level. So for example, we have tools for implementing internal linking at scale, structured data at scale, even to develop knowledge graph directly to our website, just a few clicks away, in links. They do a great job at it. We have CDNs now that allow us to change HTTP headers, to implement a lot of not only configurations to improve speed, but execute rewrites, to implement a lot of stuff, developing SEO A/B testing at scale much more easily, to real-time SEO alerting tools to monitor any updates of key technical SEO configurations, cloud-based crawlers with detailed reports also, featuring the raw versus render gap of JavaScript, client-side-based JavaScript at scale, SEO platforms that allow us to check code changes, not only for your own pages, but also any site page. Hello, amazing new feature, or relatively new feature from Ahrefs, by the way. So, yeah, all of a sudden I feel like, well, but this should be fine, isn't it? We have all of these new features, so much awesomeness that we didn't used to have back in the day. So I was like, but is this the feeling from our industry, from a technical SEO standpoint, right? So I asked, of course I had to ask. I asked again, I did this survey, the technical SEO survey, in order to see if people was feeling the same. I got 280 answers, and I want to share the results today for the first time. I was actually publishing the survey that you can now see it out there. Not only link from the presentation, which, by the way, I tweeted and shared in LinkedIn and in threads and everywhere already, just before I got on stage. And this is not a tactic for you to start following me there in case you haven't yet, but if you want to go ahead and do it now, you can do it, and you will have all of the resources there directly. But in any case, the results are in, and this is the first time that I'm going to go through them. And not only go through them, but also share a little bit of like the, let's say, the highlights and potential options that we have to address the challenges that we are going to see that we are still suffering from a technical SEO standpoint, right? So first, the behavior that I identify. Most tech SEOs develop monthly followed by quarterly technical SEO audits, which is great to see that we are recurrently checking the configuration of our websites and clients. We tend to use a mix of cloud-based and desktop SEO crawlers, and I believe that this really a radical change, the popularization. I remember when cloud-based SEO crawlers was something very expensive, and it seems that now most of us are pretty much using them because it's much more straightforward, much more cost-effective at the end of the day. Most of us are also using between 2 and 3 crawlers to validate SEO audits, to do analysis, to simulate the Google bot too, which is amazing that we don't over-rely only on a single solution or a single tool. And the most popular tool, surprise, surprise, that we love to use, and I asked for, maybe it was a little bit the wording, right? I asked for people to tell me like the top 3 tools that they were using or they love to use for technical SEO analysis and audits, and they mentioned Google Search Console too, right? Screaming Frog, Ahrefs, SEMrush, SiteBook, Chrome DevTools, Google PageSpeed Insights, and a big long tail of all the SEO platforms that include some technical SEO-related analysis and validation and crawlers. And then on the other hand, also much more specialized, let's say, technical SEO configuration related tools that we troubleshoot or use to troubleshoot, like GTmetrix, for example, for speed, or web page tests. It was great to see it there too, Google PageSpeed Insights too. So it's great to see that, well, we have all of this, let's say, availability of resources, many more resources that we used to have before. And great to see, too, that the majority of us leverage pre-scheduled crawls to automate the validations of site configurations. We are already making the most out of the cloud-based, especially functionality to do this. And we also use SEO alerting tools, a lot of us, to be notified whenever something changes on the site. Any technical related configuration or structural content configuration is changed, we are notified. The majority also validate the technical SEO execution in a test environment before it is released. And unsurprisingly, unfortunately, many of us wish to do it, but we don't have the capacity to do so as well. Way too many of those responses. Also, it really took my attention that, yes, more than 90% of the crawls are right now being released by executing JavaScript, but only 23% of SEOs do this, followed by 20% that only are able to do this between 40% and 60% of the time. Unfortunately, I think that this has to do with the credit system that a few crawlers, and also at the end of the day, time, resources constraints, being blocked, and the consumption when we are using desktop crawlers too, that this might have. So yeah, there's that. On the other hand, a lot of us, more than 90% of the crawls also, are being done by integrating with third-party SEO metrics. So to give context to the analysis, to the audit, we integrate with the Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and so on. And the last bit here, although most only, let's say, enable or are able to enable log file analysis when it is actually necessary, unfortunately, way too many say that they wish to have access to web servers, log file analysis, but they don't. It's still a struggle, even with the popularization of CDNs, which pretty much is just an access to the SEO with some limitations, of course, so we don't fuck stuff up, change the configurations of anything by yourself. But unfortunately, this is still a challenge. Anyway, so this is pretty much the overview. This is great, right? It seems that we're advancing, that we have access to so many more tools, more sophistication, more opportunities, more automation. So we've clearly come a long way when auditing. But what about the actual implementation of our recommendations? Because this is where the money is. This is where the actual impact is. This is how we are going to see results and achieve goals at the end of the day. And this was actually my expectation, right? With all of this LLM, AI, no-code, HSEO, API accesses, it's like, oh my God, it's like, yeah, very sophisticated. Hopefully we're in the future already, but realistically, sadly, shockingly or not, when I ask if we were already using AI and LLMs to automate tech SEO tasks, this is a thing. 30% say yes, but most of those that say yes, it was for technical SEO analysis or auditing, not for implementation, right? Like for implementation, only 20%. No, for implementation, it was 13% of the responses, and realistically, the most popular options were for analysis and auditing and then reporting, but literally for execution or implementation, only 30%. So this is the thing. This is where we usually tend to have more challenges at the end of the day, but there are things that cannot be automated, it seems. Fewer have developed their own tools too, because I asked, have you developed your own platforms, your own tools, your own solutions to eliminate or minimize these sort of challenges that we tend to face? And a lot of us have done it for, again, technical SEO analysis or reporting, but most haven't. We are not there yet. And then when I asked for which type of task implementation and activities we are using some of the third-party plugins or CDN, HSEO type of configuration solutions, or add-ons even for platforms or CMSs. Most of us are using it for the all same, like web speed optimization, implementation of canonical tags, structured data, JavaScript rendering more, example sitemaps. So this is good, I mean, but they are sort of like, let's say, the same sort of scenarios or activities that we used to have challenges, right? And the same sort of configurations that we used to have plugins for in WordPress anyway 10 years ago. Maybe, I don't know if we'll have it in the next 10 years, given all of the drama going on. Shockingly, there's an industry with more drama than SEO, it seems. So I feel very, actually, weirdly happy about it. That is not us, at least. Anyway, we also use Jira and Slack to coordinate with product managers and developers, which amazingly, I never thought that I was going to get so many answers about Jira. This is great to see. At the end of the day, we need to use the tools that the developers are using. So we need to, well, really coordinate well with them, integrate into their continuous workflow on one hand, and then most of the technical SEO recommendations, shockingly, only take between 4 and 6 weeks to get executed. My heartfelt hello to these people who said that takes more than 16 weeks, 10 responses with that. Like, I hear you, I see you, I have been there. Bigger companies, that's what happens, unfortunately, but yes, there's that. And despite all of this, most only see between 40% to 60% of their technical SEO recommendations implemented. This is the actual challenge, if you ask me, right? Most of the responses here, 29% of the responses were like, I only see between 40% to 60% of my SEO recommendations implemented. And the next group answered that between 60 and 80%, which is great. Only 7% of SEOs see more than 90% of the SEO recommendations implemented. I mean, how do we expect to see results if we don't do the stuff that we recommend them to, well, to improve and achieve goals, right? So, of course, unsurprisingly, when I ask about what is the level of difficulty that we are seeing to achieve SEO goals or the technical SEO goals that we look for with our recommendations, if it is getting more difficult or not, it's like most of the answers were, well, the same as before, despite all of these resources or new waves of tools that we have. Unfortunately, it's the same or harder. Things haven't improved, sadly. And when I ask the reasons for this, same old again. Resources constraints, prioritization issues, lack of understanding or buy-in from decision makers, budget constraints. Some things never seem to change, right? Internal communication or workflow challenges, technical complexity. So yes, although automation seems to have been able to facilitate a few things in our day-to-day, in our workflows, the reality is that it cannot replace the need of stakeholder support and decision makers buy-in, which are very human solutions at the end of the day, or very human decisions, right? We can see something similar when asking about the biggest tech SEO challenges in current projects. Again, development and resources constraints, JavaScript rendering issues, core web vitals, performance optimization, client communication buy-in, and again, a mix of resources constraint buy-in and then very specific technical misconfigurations and challenges handling them because of whether legacy system or new JavaScript frameworks or scenarios like migrations in which this type of configurations are even more challenging. So this was a little bit of my reaction when I went through this last bit of the results of the survey. Right? Are we in 2024 or in 2014? Because again, it seems that some things in technical SEO never changed, and I wish to have Dr. Manhattan ability to see the future and past at the same time, and everything sadly no. But yes, it feels like, yeah, same old, right? It's like, are we really in 2024 here? And despite all this, technical SEO efforts are still highly or moderately impactful to SEO goals. There's still a point in our work, so maybe it is not that bad. We will still have a job for a while, it seems. And most of SEO projects also somehow still achieve results, right? Even if recommendations are not implemented, results are there. We are getting the money when it is expected in most cases, right? And here's the thing. How is it possible? If we're achieving goals, results, despite all of these challenges, and given that despite all of this buzz going around of new platforms, new paradigm of searching, etc., organic search is still the biggest traffic source, still today, it doesn't make sense that we don't get money. We don't get the approval. Make it make sense. It's not fine. We clearly still need to better influence and communicate value, need, and impact of SEO to get that buy-in. We have a perception versus reality challenge in SEO. We are I'm always impressed how the PPC people are able to get all of those budgets. Even it's like throwing money. Sometimes they don't even know where the clicks are coming from, but somehow we still have these very human issues, and I understand how we all love to automate stuff, but some things need very human solutions, right? And somehow when I ask, look, this is very interesting, from the survey, I asked about what are the features or solutions that you wish that were developed in SEO for technical SEO that haven't been yet created? So to the tool makers here, or those who are strong enough with your prompts to get a little bit of some artifacts with Claude, people say, oh, I wish to have AI integration and predictive analysis and recommendations. I don't know how they want to keep their jobs, but yes, somehow this is something that we want to have. Enhanced reporting and visualization, log file and crawl budget analysis, better JavaScript rendering diagnostic solutions, that are able to facilitate our life a little bit more, cover vitals on page speed optimization. So yes, we are looking for all of these technical automation opportunities and additional solutions beyond the ones that we already have, but this wish list, well, doesn't necessarily tackle the actual challenge that we have, that is this. We think, or we overthink that the SEO problems will be solved completely by automation, when realistically we have a lot of automation already, and this automation won't solve a lot of them because they are, at the end of the day, product problems, business problems, and problems that have to do with decision-making, human capacity to give us money and resources at the end of the day. And at a very high level, the SEO challenge is whether about brand or product, right? Depending on the site size. This is something that I really want to highlight, and I have been highlighting lately and will be doing much more. For bigger companies and sites, the product execution alignment is the top SEO challenge, right? Like crawl budget issues for large companies, or the back and forth with product and UX. Oh, we want to improve core vitals. Let's feature less content in the page. Yes, you can also feature a blank page and have perfect core vitals, but you won't sell more with that. And we won't achieve actual better rankings and results at the end of the day, and revenue, right? For smaller companies and sites, it's about solving the brand popularity challenge. That is the biggest issue, and that is how Google excuse themselves to feature Reddit at the top in every single result. And please go and search for Learn SEO, or click on learningseo.io instead of Reddit. I think that most of us will do it anyway, right? It's like the other people that I need to do some requested. Anyway, in terms of SEO areas, then the bigger the site, the more important the product tech challenge is. That is just real, right? At the beginning, we need to focus on backlinks, content, brand stuff in order to grow it. So love it or hate it, it's a product problem. We cannot succeed on a silo. We cannot succeed by ourselves, right? We need to rely on other areas, decision makers, on stakeholders' ability to give us resources to approve stuff. And the goal is to achieve alignment with all of these areas within the product triangle. Realistically, we are not here. We shouldn't necessarily reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of resources and principles and framework that product people have created in order to solve this particular issue, and we just need to be a little bit more aware about it. So very, very quickly, because I am literally getting very little time, but yeah, it's not true. I still have 10 minutes. I started later, isn't it? Yes? Huh? Okay. Well, with a little bit more time, no worries. Anyway, it's true. Oh my God, Mike, you're deceiving me. What the heck? Okay. Yes, I still have 10 minutes. I'm tracking as a good SEO. Anyway, let's go. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. We have a lot of resources that project management people have created, even if they are not developers. Like there are so many funny memes out there, memes, like making fun of them, because what does the developer who's not good at development end up doing? Like product management. It's like they can say a lot about that from technical SEOs too. But anyway, we need to become their friends. Don't repeat this to them. Anyway, we can let's say, integrate ourselves in their workflow and better understand what they are doing in their day-to-day. Especially at bigger companies, they have joint application development sort of interviews and meetings and workshops in order to identify requirements that are functional, non-functional. Among these requirements, besides usability and accessibility, is findability in whatever platform the product is supposed to be showcased or shared, right? So agree on what and how you will recommend a report on based on what they actually care about. What you hear decision makers or stakeholders stating in these sort of meetings and interviews is key, is core, and you should work with the product manager in order to get that information. I created this little sheet version of the SEO measurement report planner where I pretty much developed this different metrics and information that I like to collect from decision makers, because I will personalize my recommendations, my reports, and whatever information I give them in order to request resources, in order to speak their language and talk about the KPIs and goals that they actually care about that are not necessarily SEO. We can also create user stories for each SEO recommendation to easily articulate the benefit and desired action at a strategic level. I wish to see these sort of features more and more in SEO tools. Right? Create your user story, because this allows us not only to answers some of the most common questions about our recommendations, the what, the who, the why, but also it really facilitates at different levels, very strategic level. It allows us to pretty much connect with the needs of the products and show why these recommendations are important, but also to specify clearly the acceptance criteria to consider the recommendations to be done. I have had so many instances of developers telling me, Aleyda is already done. It was not true. It's a lie. Why are you wasting my time? If there's clear criteria that we should agree on, it's great. It's also great when you check and it's actually done on the dev environment, but then it is released and somehow it's not, right? Love it. Anyway, that stuff can still happen. That is why we need to check before and after. But anyway, this should be ideal. The level of granularity of stories and tasks then also help coordination, also help communication. We can also use the DRIVE model to specify and to assess which are the highest reach, impact, confidence, and lower effort prioritization for our recommendations in a way that they are already working with, and in a way that decision makers actually understand, because this is a very common model with product manager at the end of the day. And here is where it comes like, okay, we will need to tie the feasibility, but also the cost effectiveness and the impact that you will have in terms of traffic and revenue using current conversion rates, etc. And this is where we need to actually get comfortable with forecasts. And amazingly, we now have solutions that are very easy to use. So for example, I am a fan of the simple ML for Sheets add-on, completely free, relying on using both the ARIMA and ETS model, which are actually good models to forecast with. It's completely free, and you can use it with your Google Search Console data, and you can add incremental values there quite easily. It's not rocket science. It's something that any of us can use and is, well, accessible to all of us. So you can also copy this template that I have created for my prioritization system using the DRIVE model for SEO recommendations and specifications. And then we can use, for example, something called the situation complication resolution framework that product managers love to use whenever they are getting buy-in from decision makers. And this will add the needed goals and biz context to each one of the recommendations and help to secure the report support, because we provide context and the why and what we are going to achieve from each recommendation and action. And of course, for every recommendation, I will highly recommend to use the Minto pyramid in order to add supporting arguments, supporting facts to each one of the actions that we propose. Again, this is something that they are using on a day-to-day if you ask your product manager. So again, this might be soft skills, but these are the soft skills that are very well needed. And the type of, I would say, features and functionalities that I wish that there was a layer of in our tools to facilitate and develop this sort of, incentivize us, let's say, to develop these sort of activities more on our day-to-day, because these are the ones that are going to guarantee or at least increment the chances to get support from decision makers to actually implement the stuff that we're recommending. And we will never realistically automate buy-in. This is the thing. We are looking always to automate stuff, to improve the feasibility of what we do, but at the end of the day, we cannot automate the human nature of business and the support that we need to our channel at the end of the day, especially when we need a lot of executions that are technical related and where there are so many stakeholders and so many says, right? It's time to change the narrative to get our tech SEO recommendations executed for success. That is my whole point. This is hopefully also the point that you get from there. Hopefully those decision makers, not decision, but also those who implement stuff. I see a lot of tool makers here. They also integrate more and more this layer of information, the aggregation with not only traffic, but also revenue, conversions. That will be nice in order to provide these additional features that we all needed in order to get our work done, implemented, our results in. If you want more of these insights, by the way, and maybe this is a little bit of my analysis, right, and my take on them, but maybe you have completely different takes because we are all like this in SEO, it depends, right? And you have the results here in the SEO FOMO Technical SEO Survey that is already published. I published it today at 4 a.m. Thank you very much. You can go and take a look at it. Lots of results, lots of insights, lots of wishes from SEO of new tools, new features, new capacities in our day-to-day. And I hope that you have found this useful. Thank you very much.